Hello and welcome to Lecture 8 on Personality. So now we're going to talk about trait theories. The trait approach is an approach to studying personality that focuses on how individuals differ in personality dispositions. These dispositions are going to be traits. And there have been a lot of different trait theories over time. We're going to look at the predominant one. We're going to look at the Big Five theory. First, I want you to go to Moodle, and in the folder titled Chapter 13 Personality Lecture Videos, please watch the video titled Who Are You Really? The Puzzle of Personality. Welcome back. I really like that video. I think Dr. Little does a good job of talking about the Big Five trait theory and some of the various findings that they have found on how ratings on different traits show different behavioral tendencies. So let's look at the Big Five. The five-factor theory, also called the Big Five, is the idea that personality can be described using 5 factors: openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Now, for each factor, there's a continuum from low to high. So your score on each factor is somewhere on that continuum. And on Moodle, in the Personality Resources folder, you'll find a link to a Big Five personality inventory if you're interested. We'll look at mine in just a moment. But I think you'd be interested in doing your own. It's really interesting. So each of these traits exists on a continuum from low to high. So a trait is the trait extroversion is titled extroversion, but it's actually looking at how extroverted are you. If someone's high on extroversion, they're high on extroversion. If they're low on extroversion, we would say, well, they're low on extroversion, but we would also title that person an introvert. The Big Five emerge across cultures and among both adults and children, even when vastly different questionnaires assess these factors. The five-factor theory has a lot of solid research behind it. These are 5 factors that we see cross-culturally that can be, typically we don't test personality in children, but we do see these traits in younger people. So something that's interesting is that how people score on the Big Five trait inventories has shown to be predictive of a wide variety of behaviors. The kinds of careers they go into, the marital satisfaction, how satisfied they are with life in general. And brain research is showing that there are neurological differences on traits. Now, in our next lecture, which will be the last one, we're going to talk about some of the neuroscience of extroversion and introversion. There are some significant neurological differences in extroverts and introverts. And something I want to really impress upon you is that personality is both social, but it's also neurological. And that's why personality is hardwired. Now, personality is flexible, but you're born who you're going to be. But how you live as that individual, that's where the flexibility comes in. So right now, the Big Five is the dominant theory for personality psychologists. So we've got the 5 factors here. me check my next slide. We've got openness to experience. Sometimes people call this openness to new experiences. So people that are high on openness would be imaginative. They like variety. They tend to be more independent. Those who rank more lower on openness tend to be more down to earth, like routine, tend to be more conforming. Conscientiousness. Those high on conscientiousness tend to be fairly organized. They are careful, self-disciplined. Those who are low on conscientiousness tend to be very disorganized and rather careless. I don't like the term weak-willed. I think that that's inaccurate. Those who are low on conscientiousness are not good time managers. Neuroticism. Now, this word we need to find another word for this trait. The word neurotic has so many negative connotations, and what neuroticism means is it has to do with how likely are you to feel negative emotions easily. Those who are high on neuroticism feel negative emotions easily. Those who are low on neuroticism don't feel negative emotions very easily. So, for those who are high on neuroticism, they worry a lot. They might be more insecure. They might feel some self-pity. They might struggle a lot with anxiety. Versus, those who are low on neuroticism tend to be very calm, self-assured. Then we get to agreeableness. People that are high on agreeableness, very helpful, polite, trusting, viewed as soft-hearted. Those who are low on agreeableness tend to be suspicious and uncooperative. We tend to see them as rather ruthless. They're just unpleasant people. And extroversion. Those who are high are very social. They tend to be very affectionate and outgoing and demonstrative with their feelings, where those who are low on extroversion tend to be more reserved and a little more sober. I really encourage you to take the Big Five inventory because you learn a lot about yourself, I think. So, the Big Five. Use the acronym OCEAN. So O is openness to experience, C is conscientiousness, E is extroversion, A is agreeableness, and N is neuroticism. So openness to experience. This is the tendency to enjoy new experiences. So my sister and I both rank very high on openness to experience. My mom does not. My life goal is to get this woman to try a California sushi roll. She won't even try sushi that doesn't have any fish in it. I can't get her to do it. My mom's not very open to new experiences. My sister and I are really high on that, and it's really interesting that we were raised by this woman who's not very open to new experiences. She likes a more routine life. Conscientiousness, a tendency to be self-disciplined and very responsible. Those who are low on this tend to be pretty irresponsible, have problems managing their daily life often. Extroversion. Those who are high on extroversion like to seek out experience. They like to seek out the company of others. Where those who are low on extroversion like their own company. I have a friend who's extremely high on extroversion, and it is very hard for her to spend any time alone. She can do it if she has to. She just doesn't like to. Where for me, I'm just craving quiet time all the time. it's odd that she's my closest friend. But now, interestingly, extroversion and introversion is neurological. This has to do with your nervous system and how much activation you need. Agreeableness, the tendency to be compassionate towards others and non-antagonistic. Are you concerned with others, with the welfare of others, or are you more self-centered? Are you a pleasant person? Do you work well with others? Or are you not so pleasant? And neuroticism, the tendency to experience negative emotions easily. Now, something that's interesting is that introverts, there's a correlation between extroversion and neuroticism. Those who rank low on extroversion tend to rank high on neuroticism. It's just an interesting correlation. Introverts tend to experience negative emotions more easily than those who are more extroverted. So these are my test results. I rank extremely low on extroversion, very high on agreeableness, high on conscientiousness, very high on neuroticism, and very high on openness. And I do feel like that's a pretty good representation of who I am. So I encourage you to do your own Big Five. Now, scores on the Big Five traits have shown, I've done that slide, I think. That might be a duplicate. Yeah. Okay, so we've got one more lecture, and then we'll be done with chapter 13. Thank you.